Before we start, if you enjoy this video, there are many more like it on the channel already, with many more like it to come in the future, so if you enjoy, please subscribe. Also, drop a like on this video, it really does a lot to help me out, and I do want to quickly talk about this series in general. Obviously today is Sunday for starters, but I've been considering making some changes to this, like subsections of videos while this virus stuff is going on, just so that we can get some extra content out there. So I'm thinking of dropping these now on Sundays and Thursdays, so twice a week instead of once on Saturday, making it the name have to change for at least a brief period of time. But I figured I might as well pump out some extra content while all of this is going on, because people are looking for more stuff to watch. Of course, there are the benefits for me as well. But if you think that's a good idea, please let me know in the comments section. If you don't, then I will just go back to how it was. But as of right now, I'm planning on doing one of these on Thursday as well. Today we're talking about Coby White and what his ceiling might be. To describe his game a bit, I guess, if you are unaware, he's pretty much a pure scorer, sometimes to an extent that gets annoying because when he is not hitting his shots, he comes off as a big chucker. But he has a very good form from three, he has a good handle on the ball, he is very fast, and he's pretty damn good at getting the basket. So those are two of the most important foundations of an offensive guard in 2020, which is three-point shooting and getting to the rim. There is a controversy that has arose over the past, well, before all this shit went down, about his mid-range shooting, because he said that Jim Boylen doesn't really let him shoot his mid-range shots, despite him feeling very comfortable. And before this whole controversy arose, he was shooting 44% from mid-range. However, after Boylen took off the leash and let him shoot as many mid-range shots as he wanted, his percentage has dropped to 37%. Now, I hate to agree with Jim Boylen, but I kind of, well, agree with him on this. With Coby's ability to get to the basket and his three-point shooting ability, it almost feels like Coby is settling when he takes a mid-range shot because he is just that good at getting to the rim. The one big concern I do have with that getting to the rim, however, is that he shoots just 54% at the basket, which is not good. That's a good bit below league average, but in general, I do think that, we saw that Coby's percentage dropped with more mid-range attempts. I think him taking them is fine, but it definitely shouldn't be a shot that he is looking for, or at least it shouldn't be at his stage of development at the moment. He can definitely work on that and get better. We are talking about a 20-year-old player here. Defensively, he is a good player, but he does not stand out either. There's not much to say there. He can defend 1 through sometimes 3, depending on the size of those threes. He obviously can't defend LeBron James, but, he's got decently long arms, I believe. He's athletic, he's fast, he's 6'5", so he's definitely got some versatility there, and he just tends to make the right play there. Sometimes he's a bit antsy, and he tries to make a play when he really should just let what happens, but like jumping into a passing lane when really he should have stuck with his man, things like that, making some gambles, but overall definitely a solid defensive player. Where can Coby improve? Well, his three-point shooting has a lot of upside. 35% on 6 attempts is a good foundation, definitely good for a rookie year. I hope we all understand at this point the context behind percentage with attempts, because yeah, 35% is pretty mediocre, but 6 attempts suggests he has the confidence to take them. I do think he could improve on that by cooling down on the contested threes as well as his step-back threes. Those don't really tend to work out for him, or he could just get better at those. But as of right now, I think he is forcing threes a little bit too much. And really, I think he should be putting more of a focus in general at getting to the basket, because despite him missing more layups than he should be, he is very good with his speed and handle and size at getting to the rim, and that's a very valuable skill set to have. And often it feels like he's just going for jumpers because he feels like he's supposed to, when it's like, dude, you can just get to the rim, so go do that. He does need to improve upon his finishing ability, but also one aspect of his driving ability that can be a problem is he has a issue that a lot of young players tend to have, which is driving to the basket with no real plan, just kind of barreling in there where there's nowhere to go. But in general, general, he's pretty good at getting there, so I think he should stick with that. Just needs to realize when he should pass it out when there isn't a layup there. The biggest area that he really needs to improve on is his passing. He has solid vision, but he does not really go to it that much. He's a little bit too shot happy, especially considering the fact that he is going to be playing a lot with Zach LaVine. He needs to put more of a focus on playmaking. Even though I do think that Coby is more of a shooting guard, he still needs to have that passing ability, even if he is just a shooting guard. But what would I say his overall ceiling is? Well, I would consider him to be a Lou Williams type of talent, but just with some variance to it. Coby isn't as good off of the dribble, just in general, but especially from three-point land. 75% of his threes are assisted. I don't know what that number is for Lou Williams, but I'm pretty sure it's lower than that. But he should be better at getting to the basket, not actually getting there, but finishing at least with his size and speed. He also won't be a defensive liability like Lou Will is. If you remember that Lakers-Clippers game that everyone was saying LeBron was MVP because of, at the end of that game in crunch time, the Lakers, and specifically LeBron, were going out of their way to target Lou Williams on the offensive end because he was just a massive liability. Coby is already a good defender with room to even be a really good one. I don't know about great. I don't know how focused in he is on that end, but he's definitely not going to be a liability like Lou Williams is. Also, I don't think he's a good fit with Zach LaVine, which is obviously a pretty big concern. So he will likely either have to be traded, Zach will have to be traded, which I don't think is the right move, or Coby will be forced to be a six-man because two shot-first guards is really not ideal. There's a world where it works, especially if you get a point forward, but otherwise it's probably not going to work out. But that is my ceiling for Coby White. He has the foundation to be a really good scorer for 2020. As I said earlier, the two most important foundations of offense these days is good shooting and good driving, and I think he's going to end up being on the Lou Williams tier, which is a borderline all-star as a starter or a multiple six-man of the year winner. And obviously if it came off of the bench. And when I'm talking about borderline all-star, I'm meaning like D'Angelo Russell's all-star season, where it's like, yeah, he got in, but I'm not giving him a whole lot of credit for that because he really only barely got in. But he's definitely going to be a good player. I have expressed my doubts about Coby White, and I still have some doubts, but he is certainly going to be a solid NBA player. It's just a matter of him being reined in and actually taking the abilities that he does have and using them in a way that is conducive to winning, because as of right now, he is a bit of a chucker. Now, he has the ability to improve his percentage because as of right now, he shoots 40% from the field for this season. However, with his shooting ability, and as I've said multiple times at this point, with his ability to get to the basket, he should be very good as a scorer. He just needs to be reined in. Unfortunately, the head coach of the team does not necessarily have the skill set to rein him in, to say the very least. But I think with a good coach and him being centered around more than he is so already, he will be able to be very solid. Now, as for the Bulls starting Coby White, I still think as of right now that it would be the best course of action for him to come off of the bench and the Bulls get a really good point guard like someone like Chris Paul, who I made a whole video about. Just because I think with Zach LaVine, Coby is going to be limited and he's going to limit Zach. So really it's best to stagger their minutes in a way to where we have one shot creating guard on the court at all times. Sometimes there obviously has to be overlap and there's no stepping on the toes there for the most part, or it's avoided as much as possible. Because starting together, there's going to be the concern that it's going to become the Coby and Zach show. Someone like Lauri Markkanen's not going to get enough shots and things like that. But anyways, that's what I believe the ceiling of Coby White is. Very good player, borderline all-star at his absolute peak, or just a fantastic six-man. Depends on what the Bulls decide to do with the guy. But yeah, Also, as I said, again, drop a like on this video and let me know if you like the idea of this series being 2 times a week instead of 1 time a week. I liked to limit it when I wasn't uploading as much because I don't want the channel to just be flooded with 2K Saturdays, but now that I am uploading at least 3 regular videos a week, I think it's okay to balance that out with 2 2K Saturdays. So let me know what you think of that idea, and I guess let me know what you think of Coby White Ceiling. But that's the end of this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe for more NBA content like this, and cue the outro music.